There once was a man who could read your thoughts better than you could speak them, a genius in behavioral science, adored in lecture halls, but consumed by his own mind. This is the story of Dr. Adrian Fell, the professor who traded sanity for control and turned brilliance into horror. Dr. Fell was once a name spoken with reverence, with Ivy League degrees, sold-out lectures, and bestsellers on the human psyche. Then, one night, after one final, haunting lecture, he vanished without a press release, without a retirement, just silence. Theories spread like wildfire: burnout, breakdown, secret government work, but none of them guessed the truth. He hadn't stopped studying people. He had only started experimenting. Years later, whispers returned of a remote estate hidden deep in the countryside, far from neighbors and signal towers. Soon, mysterious letters appeared, an invitation to a research retreat, all expenses paid with total discretion required. Scholars, inventors, even desperate students accepted the offer, but what awaited them was not research. The mansion loomed enormous, its windows boarded, its gardens rotting. Inside, a pristine dining hall was set for guests too afraid to touch their plates. As nervous whispers filled the air, a recording crackled to life. Curiosity brought you here. Consequences will keep you. At first, it all felt theatrical, elaborate puzzles, unsettling games of logic. Guests laughed nervously, thinking it was eccentric science. Then a scream erupted from behind the walls. A hidden camera was found in a shower, and one guest disappeared overnight. Myra, a brilliant graduate student, stumbled upon footage of a man strapped to a chair, electroshocked, while wealthy patrons watched behind one-way glass. She begged to leave. That night, she too was gone. Dr. Fell no longer called himself a professor. He was a puppet master. He named his work behavioral closure, forcing people past their breaking points and judging their worth like specimens in a cage. Whistleblowers were silenced, digital traces erased. Even his loyal followers, young, unemployed PhDs, were paid well until they asked many questions, and then they vanished. But one person escaped. His wife, a former psychologist, fled with her 2 children. Investigators later found her in a coastal town, trembling. When journalists asked if he ever stopped, she whispered, "No, he tested fear in everyone, even in love, even in us. We were never a family, only subjects." Another asked if she could take them to him. Her hand shook as she answered, "I can, but once we enter, the house will not let us leave." She led them back to the estate, where the compound rose out of the fog with its rusted gates and broken glass. Yet faint lights flickered inside as though someone had been waiting. The journalists filmed every step. One whispered, "It feels like it's been expecting us." The doors creaked open. On their own, they called into the shadows. "Fell, it's over. We just want to talk." A voice replied, "You shouldn't have come. Curiosity brought you here, but you will not leave." The wife cried out, "Adrian, stop this, please." Then he stepped into the dim light, older, pale, eyes burning with obsession. He smiled. "I know your names. I have studied you. You've already failed the test." Suddenly, screens lit up across the walls, showing every corridor and every room of the estate. The journalists saw themselves from angles they never knew existed. Fell's voice thundered, "You are all part of the final experiment." Doors slammed, lights flickered red, and the house itself seemed alive. One journalist tried to run, but a gunshot echoed, the camera hit the floor, and silence swallowed the hall. They buried him. They sealed the estate, yet legend spread. Every Halloween, lights flicker once more, and screams drift through the trees. Not screams of pain, but screams of realization that genius can be a mask and madness can be a throne. So beware the next invitation that promises knowledge, freedom, or escape, because somewhere the professor's estate is still recruiting. Curiosity brought you here. Now tell me, would you dare return?